My baby was 2 when I got my education. Anything is possible. I always wanted to sacrifice myself for the people. I don't care about myself. I want to give back to the world. I want to give women choice. If you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a nurse, if you want to be a teacher, if you want to be an astronaut, you can be. When the soul is aligned with the purpose, nothing else matters. If you don't have that soul alignment purpose, you can't sleep at night.
What is the high performance mindset?
For me, a high performance mindset is...
Linoy Kidd is the MSS CIO for MENAT at HSBC. In this episode, we discussed about why it's important to be humble as a leader, how to build high-performing teams, and the lessons she learned from the Chief Village while building one of the many schools she built around the world. All right, before we kick off with this episode, if you can do me the small favor and subscribe to this channel, I'll highly appreciate it, and it'll help me bring you more and more high performers to this show. This is the High Performance Mindset, and today's guest is Linoy Kidd. Enjoy this episode. Linoy, so happy to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So my first question is, as a leader, why is it important that you ask yourself the question, would my team go to battle for me?
Wow, you're taking me aback a little bit. So you're kind of quoting me. So it's very important. So I think every leader in the world has a responsibility, not only for themselves as the leader, but also for their team as well. And they really, really need to ask themselves this question. If I'm leading a team, would they go into battle for me? Would they go on the battlefield with me as their leader? If the answer is yes, you're doing something right. You need to pat yourself on the back and say, well done, good job. If the answer is no, you need to look deep, deep, deep inside yourself and say, why not? And then you need to address 1, 2, 3. But honestly, it's such an important question. And everyone on the planet has a story to tell, and they have to put down in the world what they want their legacy to be. And I really believe that if you're a leader, then that legacy needs to basically go to your deathbed. So that's why I always ask, and when I'm doing conferences, I always ask leaders in the room that question, because I think it's very, very important. If they are going to go to battle for you, it's you're doing a really good job. Well done.
I think many leaders don't see the importance of that. Hence why they wouldn't be ready to do the sacrifice required to get that from their followers. So why is it important in the first place?
So it's very important because if, let's say, you have alienated followers in your team, you're not going to be able to deliver. And you're not going to be able to deliver at high quality, at high pace. You're not going to be able to deliver whatever you need to for your partners. You're not going to be able to do the end game. You're not going to be, if you bring people together, anything is achievable, anything is possible. And therefore that question is so important, because if you're on the battlefield and you have alienated followers, you are going to die. Let's just be honest about it. So that's why I always bring it into the corporate life and say, if you have alienated followers, why is that the case? And if you did go into battle, you are literally, your team is not going to survive. So you need to dig deep and understand what kind of leadership you have, the qualities that you have as a person, and why your team is alienated from you. It's very, very, very important. And it's the difference between being a manager and being a leader. Because if you're a manager, you're just going to be micromanage, do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If you're a leader, you're going to have a strategy, you're going to have an aim, you're going to work towards that aim together. And it's key for me. And it underpins my whole leadership, toolkit conversation. It's very, very important.
I want to get into the part where you said the strategy and then you explain what you want from your team. But before that, I heard you mentioning about the effective followers.
Yeah.
So what's an effective follower?
So an effective follower is basically someone that is going to follow the leader and not be evasive. They're not going to cause you problems. They're going to understand. They're going to have empathy towards that leader. They're going to understand that leader, and they're going to go with that leader step by step by step. And also, it doesn't matter. You can flip the leadership. So let's say you have two people in a team. Both of them could be leaders at different times. If they follow, there's no alienation. But if you have alienated followers, then it's very, very hard to lead a team, to be honest, because you're constantly trying to tell them why you're trying to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And they don't want to go on the journey with you. They want to stay where they are, static. So that's why it's very important.
They could be working against you.
Yeah, exactly.
Wasting your resources.
Exactly. A lot of time wasting, which is not
and energy
conducive at all.
All right. So I heard you mentioning regarding your style of leadership. You like leading from the front, setting the strategy, and then explaining exactly, setting the roles, and then explaining exactly what you want from each member. For some people, that could be like, oh yeah, this is very basic information. But they don't understand, whoever thinks that way doesn't understand how is it expensive to get this wrong.
Yes, so this is also very key for me. I think every single person in the team needs to understand what their role is and how to use their skill set to the best of their knowledge. So if you have someone who's not good at project management, why would you put them in project management? Because they're not going to be using their full suite of, expertise. If they're technical, put them in the right role for them. So for me, it's all about right role in the right place at the right location at the right time. And it's very, very expensive if you get it wrong. Very. Because those people are not going to be giving you 100 or 150%. They're going to give you 10%. They're going to come into work. They're going to be not low morale. There's going to be a lot of sick leave. They don't want to be there because they're not performing. Every single person wants to perform.
Yeah.
They want to come into work. They want to feel good about what they're doing, and they want to feel like today I had a great day. I taught someone today. I went above and beyond today. I really, I succeeded to the best of my ability. Every single person wants that.
Yeah, no one really wants to come there to be the weakest link in the team.
Exactly.
But when they're working against their strengths, sometimes you have to do it. When you're learning something, it might feel like a struggle, but it shouldn't be constantly that way. Mm-hmm. If it's constantly that way, then you're not working with your strengths. You're just constantly working on your weaknesses.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it might be exhausting, and you might wonder sometimes, this person seems like he cares. I go speak to them, I explain, they get motivated for probably a week, and then they're back again, and they're probably, it could be frustrating from your side trying to motivate them, and from them they're way more frustrated doing what they're not supposed to be doing in the first place. So how do we, first of all, put them in the wrong role before we switch them to the right role?
Actually, do you know, it's I have a use case actually that 2 years ago, one of my guys, he's like begging me, please, I don't want to do this role, I want to do this other role. And I'm like, listen, I will do it, but I'm telling you that I don't think your skill set is going to match that role. I will do it for you. We'll put it on trial 6 months. If it doesn't work,
amazing.
We go back.
That's amazing you gave that opportunity.
Yeah, and I said, prove me wrong. Like, if you're saying that you really want this and you're hungry for this and you want it, let's do it. I put him in the role. He failed in the role. Everyone complained about him. I had to mirror him with another person. It didn't work out, blah, blah, blah. And I said to him, look, just take it as a learning curve. You have amazing skills over here. It doesn't transpose to this. That's fine. We all need to know what we're good at. And you tried, and it didn't work. So we went back. But he got very frustrated that he couldn't do the role that he wanted, because in his mind, it's like heaven, right? It looks like heaven on paper. I want it. I want it. So he's gone back to his old role. He's very happy. I'm very happy, and he's doing a really, really great job. But we needed to put him in that, to move him back. I really don't want. I want my team to be satisfied with what they're doing on a daily basis. I don't want morale to be low, and therefore, I really want to give them to put them in the right roles with their skill set match.
And I think it's a great thing that instead of you just refusing completely, is to let him go and find out for himself. That's very rare.
Actually, I like the fail fast, move forward. Let's fail fast, move forward. I really like that approach. So I'm happy to give anyone a chance. Everyone deserves a chance in this world. My best thing. So I've employed people with Oxbridge degrees, masters, PhDs, and I've employed people without degrees. And I'm telling you, everything comes down to loyalty with me. If you're loyal to me, then I'll do anything for you.
What does loyal mean to you? Like how do you define
loyalty to me
loyalty?
is like I set a goal, I set a strategy, and you're hand in hand, and you're helping with that strategy. But also for me, it's not just about the day job, right? I do so many things, and when you do so many things, and I'm sure you know this, right? You're juggling a lot. So if you have someone that's going to take some of the balls away from you and run with it, like I have some people, I'm just like, are you a mind reader? I come in, oh yeah, I did ABC for you. And I'm like, wow, I don't even have to ask them. They know. So, I mean, that's just baked in loyalty. And I've had those people for 18 plus years. They don't work for me now, but I can pick up the phone. They'll do anything for me. Anything. It's incredible. Incredible.
You have to earn loyalty.
You have to earn it. And my guys earn it. Like they have the stripes. They've gone to battle with me and they've earned the stripes. It's like when you work for Linoy Kidd, it's like going to war. Oh, you survived, okay. Then you get the stripes and you get the baked loyalty. And you become family for life. Like, honestly, those people are my family for life. It goes past the DNA. It's deeper than DNA for me. And sometimes I wake up, I've lived in so many countries, right? I've lived in 6 countries, and I've worked in so many locations now. So I've done the UK, I've done Mexico, I've done, obviously, Dubai and China and Hong Kong. And, I have so many people that are loyal to me all over the world. I can pick up the phone. I'm coming, even Brazil. I'm coming to Brazil in Christmas. Can I stay with you? Yeah, of course. And you can feel the power of that when you wake up in the morning, that you have this tribe, and the tribe is big, and you're not alone, and you can do a lot of things. And we have done a lot of things together. So, which we'll get on to, I'm sure, because I'm sure you've got those questions lined up. I'm like prepping you.
Before we get there, I really was fascinated with the part of hiring where you like giving a chance to the person who doesn't have
I do.
The Cambridge or the Oxford.
Yeah.
So let's say, in which situation would it be better to hire the person who doesn't have the big
I'll tell you
certificate?
something about my interview technique, and some people have been a bit scared by it. But literally, okay, I'll look at someone's CV, okay? And if they tell me, oh yeah, I have Black-Scholes, for instance. Okay, Black-Scholes is the FX options, underpins the algorithm, right? So I get them to write it on a piece of paper for me. You say you have Black-Scholes knowledge? Okay, write it for me. Now, it doesn't matter what university they've gone to. Some people can go and learn so deep that they have that knowledge and they can calculate an option for me on paper. I'm employing them. I'm employing them tomorrow. And I've done this over and over and over again, where I'm asking people, okay, this is your education. I don't care where you were educated. Even if you were educated at home, I don't care. But if you go deep and you can show me and illustrate how much knowledge you have and how quickly you can adapt, because our work environment's very fast paced. It's like, you have to be on the ball and you have to think fast. So if you can show me and illustrate to me that's who you are, and also that you're a team player and you're going to help everyone around you to get up to your level, I'm going to employ you. And that doesn't matter if you come from Oxbridge. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter if you did a degree in Hull or you did a degree in Oxford. You will be part of my tribe.
How do you assess if there would be a good team player or not?
It's all around attitude on the day. It's all around the attitude and how they interact. But sometimes I do put people into groups and figure out how they interact and interplay. When I've done bulk hiring, I had to do bulk hiring in China. We did that. We did they had to be in a team and show me how they work in a team. And
I have no idea what's bulk hiring.
Bulk hiring is where you go in and you hire mass people. So it's not one, it's like 10, 20. So
Okay.
Bulk hiring. So we did, a lot of that. And so I can see the interaction. I'll tell you one case, right? One guy, he flew in from China, Guangzhou, into London just for that 1 day assessment, okay? I didn't even interview him in a room like this. I interviewed him outside the room and I said, tell me about your degree, tell me about you, tell me about this, blah, blah, blah. And then the hiring manager was here and he started talking to me. And then I said to him, okay, you're hired. And that guy ended up becoming one of my users. So it's all around, if you feel the potential and you feel like you can grow the potential in the person, then you're going to hire them. And a lot of it is around that. It's a lot of it is around that. It's all around the potential of that person, and how far they can grow in a very fast pace.
Did it happen that, let's say, you felt the person had the skill set, but they didn't have the mindset?
I've had people with a lot of a lot of paper. What I mean by paper is they did a master's, they did a PhD, they did 2 PhDs, but they cannot explain to me what they did. So, okay, you got your degree, it's a first, amazing, well done. But it's all theory to them. It's not practice. And I can't have theory. I mean, I need them to be hands-on. I need them to be in the trenches with me. I need them to fix stuff with me. I can't have, in theory, then it's like X, Y, Z. No. You need to be on the ground. So those people I haven't hired, and I will not hire them.
Regarding matching skill set with the right role,
Yes.
we already spoke about how sometimes, you could put them in the wrong role,
Yes.
and then you switch them and put them wherever you feel they'll be better suitable.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you do that, a person could feel demotivated.
Yeah.
Like not demotivated, but demoted.
Yeah.
Like you're demoting them. That's why I'm changing. So how do you prevent the person feeling that way?
It's tough, right? And it is a journey. Like that person is going to be like, I was here and then I went like this. But at the end of the day, when they go back to doing the role that's perfect for them, and they're going to fly and they can see that they're going to fly, the demotivation, it almost dissipates. Because like I said to you, everyone, even, I don't know if you watch much well, you do because you're a podcast guy. So I'm sure you watch a lot of podcasts, right? I'm obsessed with watching people talk. Even back to Martin Luther King, I love the way he spoke, the way that he spoke and the way that he pulled the crowd into him was just incredible. Gandhi, the same.
Malcolm X.
Oh, Malcolm X, the same. I mean, just those people. And I've written so many papers on what makes a great leader and what makes a great person, why people are pulled. Some people are literally pulled to people, they want to be around them, you feel the power of that person, you want to be around that person. It's almost like they're born to lead, you know what I mean? And so So Oprah Winfrey, she did, I don't know if you saw it, it was ages ago now, but she did a whole piece on the Ku Klux Klan.
Okay.
Okay. Ku Klux Klan, horrible. At the end of the podcast that she did with them, and obviously to sit there as a black woman would have been very tough, okay? Because, you know, they've killed a lot of her brothers, sisters, etc. They said to her, was that okay? Did what I say, was it okay? Which means every piece of humanity, doesn't matter how bad you've been, you want to show that you've done a good job. And it made me think, I'm like, wow, you know, it doesn't matter who you are on the planet. Every single person wants to know.
Acceptance.
They want acceptance. And it goes the same in corporate life. Everyone wants to be accepted. Everyone wants a pat on the back to say, you did a good job. And if you get that mix right as a leader, you can literally move the dial. You can literally make the impossible happen. And during my time here, I arrived 2 months before COVID hit, the lockdown. My head trader came to me. He said, you're going to have to do the impossible now. Every single person needs to have access at home. Never been done before. And you need to make sure it's compliant. You need to make sure X, Y, Z. And we did it. We did it super fast. And then I did it with a team I didn't even know. So how is that possible? And the only reason that's possible is because we worked together. I led from the front. I wouldn't get them to do anything I wouldn't do. If it was a 3 a.m. call, I would be on the call. If the trader's screaming, I'm going to be there. If the trader wants me at home, I'm going to be there. So it's all around that. It's a combination deal. Like, you are not alone. I will tell you when you've done a good job. And everyone has a place on the planet. Like I said, everyone has a story. And every person wants to feel valued. Everyone. Me, you, and our friend over there.
And as a leader, usually you're the last one to get the tap on your back. In reality. Yeah. But you know, for me, yes, that is reality. But honestly, like last week I was in Nepal building a school, and I brought my team that I've had for 18 years. Imagine, right? Like it's I feel like, you know, I'm with my brothers in arms, you know. And I felt so emotional about it because I haven't built a school with them before. They have been walking with me for all that time. They have been raising the funds all that time. And to build a school with them, and then I realized, I'm like, wow, there's something magical in there. There's so much peace in that. And it's so much more than you did a good job. You know what I mean? There's just so much emotion around that. And as a leader, and I think anyone in the world who was a leader, is a leader, etc., even the greats, they know what they've done. They know the change they've made, and they can take that to the grave. And that's the biggest tap on your back.
Exactly.
Yes.
You can't say more than that. You can't say more than that.
That's when you're aligned, and
it's like when the soul is aligned with the purpose, nothing else matters.
And if it's not, then there's no happiness.
There's no peace.
There's no peace.
You have no peace. If you don't have that soul alignment purpose, you can't sleep at night. You just can't. Like, and for me, because I want to do more, actually my peace is eroded because I want to do more. And that kills me, you know. Like I see so much that we need to do, and I feel like I'm running out of time. And people think I'm crazy. They're like, Linoy, you live like you're going to die tomorrow. And I'm like, I feel like I'm going to die tomorrow. Like, I feel like there's not enough time to
achieve what I
want to achieve. Like, time is... And, you know, everything comes as a sacrifice, right? And time is a sacrifice. So if you speak to my daughter, she'll be like, you sacrifice me for all of this stuff that you do. And she's right. So then... you know, it's very tough to get all the alignment and every piece of the puzzle to be at peace. You know what I'm saying? To be happy.
Most of the greats really, that was their biggest challenge, is
It's
to
that
find time for their family.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's because they're making, while they're doing all the great things that they're doing for the people,
Yeah, exactly.
the ones that suffer are.
It's so funny, right? Because when I was 16, I wanted to sacrifice myself for the people. I always wanted to sacrifice myself for the people. So
Right.
I wanted to build schools and educate the world and etc. etc. Like that was my calling. That's what I wanted to do. I've always had that dream.
I heard you mention that, but please walk me through when you were 16. Like, when did this happen? You mentioned that you were in a management program when you were 16.
Oh no, not when I was 16. Oh, that was a lot older. So I'll teach you. I'll my timeline. I'll do the Linoy Kidd timeline. So basically, at 16. I don't know, well, you're younger than I am, but Bob Geldof was a big thing. Feed the world, feed the world. In the UK, it was like a massive thing. It went global, and then we really understood. You know, there's people not living how we live, right? So I just wanted to be a keen enthusiast and just say, okay, I don't care about myself. I want to give back to the world. Just listen to me. I know you've got questions and you're going to be like, what? Just listen to me. So that's what I wanted to do. But at 18, well, actually at 17, I fell pregnant. And then I got on this treadmill of, you know, education and then providing. So then I started providing, you know, and I got the house and I got the nice big house and the Mercedes Benz in the garage and all the rest of it. And then when my daughter left home, I didn't feel any. I felt like my soul was empty. Like,
how old were
you? So in my 30s when she left. So I was 36 when she left home. So I felt empty, and then I felt, and literally, like I would literally go to work. This is getting a bit close now. I'd literally go to work on the metro. I'd miss her so much because she was like my partner in crime. Like we did everything together, and I would just stand there holding the thing, and I'd start crying, and I'd be like, "This is not good." And then another thing happened. My godmother died, and my godmother was like, "Wow." So I had two deaths that really impacted me: my grandmother and my godmother. And when they died, I started to lose the plot of what the meaning of life is, because everything I wanted to do for them. Everything I wanted to do, I wanted to give back for them. And everything, like I was thinking, I'm doing this, they'll be proud of me. I'm doing this, they'll be proud of me. And then I just was like, there's no one who's going to give me that now. Anyway, long story short, I went on a management training course when my daughter left home. And on that management training course, they said, you have to do a 1-year project. So I came up with this plan to build a school in Malawi, in Africa, which was my dream when I was 16. But by doing it, we would walk 100 kilometers, which is 24 hours non-stop walking, to raise the funds. But no one had ever done anything like this on the management training course. Like usually they're like, oh, let's dim the lights to save money for HSBC, or turn down the onboarding for trading and make money, or do this piece of technology, using the new technology at the time, which was cloud at the time. No one thought about, this kind of thing, right? So I went to the managing partner and I said, I want to do this. And he said, listen, you're crazy. I don't know how you're going to get anyone to walk 100 kilometers with you and then go to Africa and build a school. But if you pitch it and they say yes, you can do it. So there's 33 people in that hall, because he said after lunch you can pitch it. And to build a school in Africa is 33K. So in my head I'm thinking 1K, all they have to do is raise 1K USD and we're done. So I stand up and I'm like, guys, I've got this crazy idea. Why don't we do a project together? No one's ever done it before. We can walk the whole of the Thames path, and then we can go to Africa and build, and we can, literally build in the mud ourselves, right? And everyone stands up and they give me a standing ovation. Everyone's like, yes. So, yeah. So then that's how it all started, which is 10 years ago now.
Why do you think a lot of them accepted. I mean, anyone else would be like, no, you're not going to put it up. You're not going to put it
I think, I think, so, when you're in corporate, and I know you've been in corporate, so you know this, you want to give back. You really want to give back. Like, you want to find a way to give back. And giving to just charity money, which a lot of people do every year or every month, it's not enough. And I felt like a lot of people in the room were at that juxtaposition that I was at, where a lot of them kids have moved out, they're at this new phase of life. Some people are like, what's the meaning of life? You're going on a course, you're learning about yourself, right? So that's the underpinning the whole thing.
A lot of them had already worked with you?
Some, yeah.
So
yeah,
they already know.
I know what you're going to say. Like,
So
who is this Linoy Kidd?
They knew,
They
knew you as a person, and they trusted you as a person,
and I would get the job
at least
done.
Those were the first to raise their hand that they're with you, and the rest.
And the rest came and followed. They were not alienated. So that's what we did, and it took us 1 year to organize the war.
So this 30K,
100K.
that was the second time.
100 kilometers.
Yeah, the first time you raised 100K?
So 100 kilometers walk, we raised 33K USD.
So the 33 didn't come from the team. It came from
the team.
Or it came from the...
Everyone raised 1K USD in that. So
they raised it and then they walked with you. It's not like that you guys went knocking on doors and
no. So the way that sponsorship works is you ask your friends, your family, whoever please sponsor me. I'm walking 100K. It's going to be painful.
Nice.
The more pain involved, the more money's involved, because people were like, "Oh my God, you're doing a lot." This year I did 100 miles for this cause. Honestly, like, it was pure DNA removal. Still haven't recovered. My body's still not recovered. It's still depleted of all of its, people are like, really, Linoy, really? 161 kilometers non-stop. 30 hours non-stop.
Where?
I did it in London. It was raining and it was cold. I was freezing. I'm like, really? Why? But yeah, so the more that you're in pain, the more you raise. So yeah.
That is a very big moment.
It's a very big moment.
A very big breakthrough. So the walk at Thames Park, right?
Yeah, Thames Path.
Thames Path. Do you recall your thoughts, like, before starting versus or just before starting the whole raising process?
Actually, I was very nervous. I'm always nervous. The goal is to raise enough money for a school every year, right? And it takes a lot of energy to raise money. Anyone who's raised money knows what I'm talking about. Like, it's like a full-time job. You please, it's for charity. We need to do this. So it's nerve-wracking. And if you don't hit the goal, then there's, thousands of children that are not going to have a school and not be educated, right? So there's a lot at stake. And I really use it. I really push hard for the funds. Like, I really, really push hard for the funds. Like, the 100 miles, I raised 9,000 USD, just myself. So, yeah, you have to push hard. You have to dig deep, because it's almost like looking someone in the eye and, please give me your money. Right? It's tough.
And from the other side, they're like, I have the money, but I'm not sure if it will really get to the right place.
But because we show them that we dig and we do the schools,
which is easier later.
Yeah. But the first
That's
time,
what I'm saying. The first
time is very tough. It's very tough, but we managed to get it. And there were a few people.
What were your internal thoughts? That's what I want to know during that phase.
I was actually like, we're going to do this. We're going to do this.
You had to.
We're going to do this every night. We're going to do this. I literally,
Okay, that's one side.
yeah.
You're saying we're
No,
gonna do this.
but you know, on the night, I'm not joking. Every single night, I was pinging. Oh my God, I've got this guy. He might donate. Oh my God, I got this girl. She might donate. I was literally pinging the whole world, everyone I knew, like every person that I'd ever met. They got an email from me. Please, 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 please donate. And luckily for me, they donated. Like every time I sent an email out, the next day I would see my, the money increase. So it was incredible.
So when a doubt comes in your head, let's say in this situation, what would you tell yourself?
It's going to be fine.
So what kind of doubts come in your head?
I'm going to tell you something. I went to Mexico. I lived in Mexico. I was walking the streets of Mexico, okay? So to walk home, I lived in Polanquito. I'm pretty sure a lot of Mexicans know where that is. But you have to walk down the strip to get home. There's a lot of homeless in the street. It broke my heart every night. So then when I was in Mexico, I said I want to walk for Mexico, raise money for Mexico, and then build in Mexico. So we actually built a house for the homeless in Mexico. Okay? But no Mexican wants to part with their money because they think it's corruption. So and they don't understand the concept of sponsorship. Like, there is no concept of sponsorship. I had to explain it over and over and over and over again. And I had to explain, this is a house for the homeless. We're going to go build the house. You will see where your money goes. You will see the house being built. You will. And 2 nights before, we still hadn't the funds. 2 nights before. And I picked on a few, best friends, I would say. And I'm like, I'm really stressed out. Please help me. And they're like, Linoy, breathe. It's going to be fine. We're going to help you. And, I pulled on the Brazilians, and the Brazilians went and they got loads of money. And I pulled on the people from New York, and they went and got loads of money. And then on the day of the walk, we hit our target.
Nerve-wracking.
It was nerve-wracking, but we did it. So every step of the way, we've always done it. But it's been
barely.
But it's been very stressful. And I'm like, oh man, here we go again. Ouch. Okay.
But so
we've
worth
done
it.
it. But it's so worth it.
What are the things you heard after you built the school from the people?
So there's so many amazing stories. So the first school that we built in Malawi, it's a very special school to us because it's the first one, and it's Malawi, and we love Malawi, and the people of Malawi love us, and it's just it's so special. And so I built 4 schools in Malawi, and every time I'm like, can I go back to the school I built, the previous one? So it's like 9 years ago, and then 4 years ago, and then 2 years ago, and then 1 year ago. Anyway, we went back to the first school, and the women of that community, they used to complain to us. They used to say, "Oh, we go into the farm, we work so hard," and they work so hard, and they're so strong. Like, I think I'm strong, but these women are like 100 times stronger than I am. Like, unbelievable. And they're like, Linoy, we created a bank. So they clubbed together, and they put their money together, and they realized that they could do more with their money together. So the women created a bank. I mean, how incredible is that?
I mean, women are good with that, like that.
Yes. And then, well said. And then the school that we went there, so we built a school in Mfazi in Malawi, also very special and dear to our hearts. And that school we went back to, and the grandmas, honestly, they came and they hugged us, and they said, I can read numbers now. I go to the market. No one can tell me it's 10 when it's 5. I want to thank you. And those women are setting up businesses now. You know, they go, they farm, they take the surplus and then they sell it, and they can put their kids, they can pay for their school's the kids' books. Not only that, they're learning, so they go to after school and they can learn. So they were just like, thank you so much. And that, wow, it really softened my heart. Like, to know that those schools are having that impact on that community is just incredible. Not only that, teenage pregnancy in Mfazi, 0.
Wow.
0. Because of our school. So everything is just like a dream come true.
So how do they...
It's very, very, like, it's very stringent education. Like, they have posters on the wall and they're like, please stay in school, please be dedicated to your education. If you do X, then this will happen to you. It's a very explicit posters on the wall. It's incredible, but it's all down to the education. And that statistic was amazing to me, because the reason that I do this is because my grandmother was 13 when she got married and she couldn't read or write. She's Kurdish. She was born in Baghdad. So she would always come to the grandkids and she'd be like, please teach me to read and write. Please, please, please. You know, I need to read and write. And she wanted to have that in her toolkit, but she didn't. So all she could do is, the only extra cash she could make was cleaning houses. So I said to myself, I want to give women choice. I want to go into these villages and give the woman, you can stay with the family if that's what you want. But if you don't, then we're going to give you the toolkit to do whatever you want to be. If you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a nurse, if you want to be a teacher, if you want to be an astronaut, you can be.
At least you have the option.
You have the option. And the thing is, a lot of the time we go into these villages, right, and we see these teenage mothers, sometimes they're 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, you know, very, very young, even younger than me when I had my first baby. And they look like they're like, what happened to my life? And they're so young, and it kills me. Like, I look at them and I just want to hug them, and I want to be like, it's going to be okay. Honestly, it's going to be fine. We're building you a school. You can have education. You can go out. You can be whatever you want to be. You can strap the baby to your back. You can go to school. You can get an education. And the thing is that when I go there, I say, listen, my baby was 2 when I got my education. Anything is possible. You strap the baby on, you go to school, you get the education, and then you move on, and then you move on. Anything is possible. And you can see, like, the lift of hope that they have, you know, from meeting us and from us building the school. And then you go back and you see the change, and it's iterative. And it's not just that school, it's like the community and the community and the community and the change that's had. It's incredible.
How was it for you being a mother at 16?
17 pregnant. I had her on my 18th birthday.
Okay.
Yeah. It was, I don't know, my daughter was amazing, to be honest. Like, I had the most beautiful daughter ever, and she was very, very easy. And I only know that now because I've had a son. Yeah, it was, she was incredible, but I had to do a lot of sacrifice, right? I went and I got my degree. It was tough. It was not easy, but it gives me empathy, and it gives me, it helps now. Like, I understand the journey that we've both gone on, and it helps, you know, with the work that I do. It gives me empathy for when I go into the village.
You mentioned in one of the videos I watched regarding leadership that it's important to be humble as a leader.
Very.
How do leaders get this wrong?
Ego will kill you, honestly. If you do everything for you and you alone, and I, there's no team underpinning, you're not going to be able to lead a team. You're really not. So there's a story about sailing. You know, you can have so many different leaders sailing, right? And that leader that's going to beat their team to get to actually go and win, you'll see that team will say, I'll never be with that guy. I never want to be led by that guy again. But the collegiate leader or the leader that leads from the front, they'll say, yeah, we'll do anything for that person. So it's very, very important. If you have an end goal, and that end goal is, it's a growing end goal, like it's organically growing, and you want it to grow, and you want to have your people behind you, you really, really need to be humble and on the ground. So when we go into these villages, I see so many different leaders, right? Because we have different chiefs, and the chiefs come and they actually work with us. And the one chief that I loved the most, and the one that I took away, and I was like, I want to be like this guy. He built every single house in his village. He knew every single person by name, not only the people, but also the babies and the children, every single one. And then when you put him on the work site, he was the hardest working. And then we had like these big guys with us, right? Huge. You know, one of them looked like Superman, and I'm not even joking. He looked like Superman. And we were like, let's do an arm wrestling competition. That chief won. And he's your size. So it's like, and he's humble, like he's so humble, and he uses humor to bring his team together, you know, to bring his village together. And I realized that's how I want to be. I want to be like him. I want to have that. And then I have another story. I know we're running out of time, but I walked the whole of New Zealand, the North Island, and we were walking. So when my grandmother died, I took some time off work, and I wanted to walk the whole of New Zealand, north and south. But I ran out of time because I needed to go and build a school in Senegal, and that's important to me. So I walked the whole. It was 670 kilometers. Okay, so one night, the campsite that we wanted to go to, because we were camping, walking, like it was a proper military machine, right? One of the it was upside down, like I don't know, like the village hadn't looked after the campsite. It was all upside down. So we had to go knock on doors. Please, can we put our tent up in your garden? And then we got no. Then we knocked on another door, and we didn't realize, but it was a Maori chief. And at first he looked at us, and honestly, we looked like beggars off the street, because we had our backpacks and we looked terrible, you know, and we're in these big ponchos because it's raining. We looked terrible. And then he looked at us and he's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you actually doing? And then we're like, oh, well, we're working for charity to build schools, and please help us. And he said, okay, my sister's down the road, go and knock on her door. Her name is Betty. So we knock on the door, and this amazing, like, Maori woman opens the door, and she's like, "Oh, hey, girls, come in." And she doesn't even know. She doesn't know us. She doesn't, nothing. She just looks at us, and she's like, they need help. Anyway, we sit down, and we tell her our story, right? And she's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? I said, we're working for charity. We're working to build schools. I'm literally going to go build a school in Senegal. And she was so taken aback. And then we look around, and I realize she's living in a garage. Like, her Maori chief put her in a garage in squalor, literal squalor. She made like a gas stove, so she had that. But everything, like her shower was a bucket. Like, she literally had nothing. And there was one bed. And she goes, you can stay with me, it's fine. I don't want you to put your tent outside. It's raining, it's cold. She took the mattress off her bed and she put it on the floor. And I'm like, how can someone with nothing give me so much? You know, I felt like she saved my life. And because we were so cold, you know, we were like shivering, and we'd walked 48 kilometers that day, because every time we walked to one of the, you know, the campsites, it's not there. So we walked to the next village and the next village. And anyway, so that story taught me you have to be humble in this world, because you have, in order to touch people, you have to be humble. If you have ego and ego gets in the way, you cannot. Ego will eat you alive. It really will. And you can't lead people if you have that much ego. And I'm always, As a leader, it's very hard, right? Because ego does play a very large part in leadership. But I always try and keep my ego in check. I always try. I always try and keep my feet on the ground. I always try and remember Betty. I try and remember my Nicaraguan chief. I always.
And what's the wrong version of being humble? That could happen, due to your culture or upbringing.
The wrong version of humble is that people take you for granted and, but that karma is not going to sit with you. That karma is going to sit with them.
All right. Let me ask you the question of the show.
Okay.
From your perspective, what is the high performance mindset?
It's a very, very good question. High performance mindset. Anything is possible. When you bring people together with one common name and one strategy, you can literally do anything. And I am a testament to that. I went into a room with 33 people and I convinced them to do something amazing. And then I was asked, what's next? And I said to myself, you are not going to give up. You are going to keep going. And my plan was 5 schools, 5 years. And now we've done 9 schools in 10 years and 1 house for the homeless. And I have made a pledge that I am not going to stop until I die. So I'm going to build a school a year until I die. And then I'm going to pass that legacy on to my children so that they build a school until they die. And then down the line. So that's, for me, a high performance mindset is if you see a wall, you punch through it, you go over it, you go under it. Don't let anything stop you. Anything is possible. If you dream big, you can do it. Anything is possible.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, that's it. That's a wrap.
Thank you so much for having me.
Wow. How do you fill up your cup?
Me? I do so many things. You got no idea.
Yeah, to be able to, deliver a school every year, you have to fill up your cup.
Yeah. But I do. I just keep going and going and going. And now, I want to branch out, right? I want to do orphanages now. I want to do so many things. But like I said to you, there's only so much time in the day, right? And then I'm getting this thing where different locations are raising their own funds. So now there's like a surplus in the funds. So I'm thinking, maybe I can build 2 in a year.
Let's go.
Let's go.